Запускаю.
I already did that. So, um, last time I tried to interview myself, and it didn't work that well because I think when I'm just talking to a camera, it's not that energetic. So I decided to invite my friend today, Andrew, and he will tell you a few good things about himself in a short moment. But yeah, essentially, the idea of this video is it's a mock interview, and Andrei will be free to ask me any question that he wants. I don't know the question in advance. Hopefully, this question will be somewhat related to machine learning or system design, or both of those things, or neither. And yeah, and yeah, one more thing here. My idea is that in general, those kind of videos would be valuable to see how different people from different industries and different kinds of companies are interviewing others. Because there are like fun tech companies, but there are also a lot of startups, consulting firms, whatever. Everyone has their own way, their own approach, and obviously, the more this smaller the company, the more things depend on the interviewers themselves, and they can decide to do whatever they want to. So yeah, I guess it should be a nice experience. And Andrew, if you should I call you Andrew or Andrei? By the way, how do you go?
I go by anything, like whatever you like.
Yeah, as I do, I usually go both by Ivan and Ivan.
Hmm. In Netherlands, I am called Andrei often.
Yeah, cool. So introduce yourself a little. Just tell are you doing. You're already like 10 years in the
Hmm.
industry, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm leading a team of data people at Eurocommercial. It's my pleasure to do it for the past 1.5 years already. My job, yeah, I would say that it consists of four parts. The first being big picture view. So I look at the industry, I look at the strategy of the organization and the industry, I look how we can fit in and what can we do as a team to propel the company forward. Next to it, I am responsible for delivery of all the data projects and initiatives at Eurocommercial. So I do a lot of project management and delivery management, making sure that everyone knows what they should be doing and the right people doing the right thing at the right time. This kind of things. I help people to level up, and this is the third part of the job. So as professionals and as a team, we all want to grow. So make sure that it happens. And the fourth one is getting less and less, but I provide technical expertise whenever it's possible. And I can do it because in the past 10 years, I've built a lot of stuff with my hands. And among others, it's data platforms, it's multi-tenant applications, it's machine learning systems, software services, APIs, data warehouses, databases, like this kind of things. Um, yeah, but my background is actually in economics, so I have Masters of Business Administration from Moscow State University, which I got back in Russia, where I'm originally from.
Yep.
This is me.
Where we also meet each other actually. So now you know how we know each other. And yeah, that's a nice introduction, Mr. Engineering Manager, or whatever you are called, head of data everything. So tell me, what are we going to work on today?
I prepared something special for us. So, The way how I approach hiring, or how I approach hiring, I usually never look at CV,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because it's distracting, and always brings some expectations from people that might or might not be true.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I like to take uh, kind of a goal of the position, right? Something that I expect a person to achieve, and the ways to for them to achieve it, and combine it into something that I heard it's called a kata. I think it's Japanese word, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and this is kind of a use case that you can present as like a business use case, and then ask the person to navigate this use case, and just observe how people think. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I like the most. And then you can be, yeah, I find it a good way to interview, because you're pretty much on the same level with the person, right? It's not like there is a right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like we both explore certain situation.
Sounds good.
So this is what I prepared for now for our meeting. Um, I'm gonna just read because it's a little bit, yeah, it's a couple of phrases.
Okay.
So imagine there is a financial trading company called Scrooge McDuck Financials.
Okay.
I need to see your face, yes. So it offers commission-based trading of crypto, NFTs, and carbon credits to private individuals all over the world.
Crypto NFTs. What is the third?
The third one is carbon credit.
Aha. Yeah, I kind of understand. Okay, carbon credits. Interesting.
Yeah, well, because why not, right?
Yep.
You're already trading other fun stuff. Um, a couple of numbers about the company. So the minimal size of a deal is one US dollar. Average transaction is $5. Average portfolio size is 20 US dollars.
Average portfolio size is $20.
20,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Company has a client base of 9 million people
Mm-hmm.
who make zero point 0.5 transactions a month on average. And every transaction brings 20 cents of commissions to the company.
Every
Commission.
transaction.
hmm Commission is flat, so there is no price, what's it called? Discrimination, price discrimination, because Scrooge McDuck Financial Services treat everyone equally.
Okay, sounds good.
In the recent years, company experiences a steady decline of the client base, unfortunately.
Mhm.
The management of the company doesn't want to think,
At all.
and instead they want a lot of monies.
Okay. Management want
Yes, it's like if any resemblance with real people, it's purely accidental.
okay.
So they were puzzled for about 5 minutes with this situation until chief executive officer figured it out. He said, if we increase the number of transaction per person by the basically by 300%, then we will triple the profit and engage the client base. It's really that simple. It's a quote.
Mhm.
And the board loved the idea. They spoke a little bit longer about how to, achieve this stellar result, until CFO figured it out. So last weekend he was on his annual accounting conference, and there they were talking about AI, and one of the main accountants said that AI nowadays can do everything. So the way to achieve increase in transaction frequency is with AI. So you, my friend, is a data lead of Scrooge McDuck Financial Services. You have on your strategy now for your team is a task which says increase the rate of transactions with AI. Now it's your responsibility to make sure that the management gets their bonuses.
That's a cool problem to work on.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, wait a second. It's not
okay.
yet all. At first, you have to select one slogan for the company out of five. So the first slogan says, "Every coin counts, especially ours."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You don't have to type this,
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
way.
I won't, I won't. Um, I will just
Then
type
the
out.
second one says, "Trust us with your trades for a small fee, of course."
Okay.
The third one says, "Old-fashioned service, traditional fees."
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one, "We don't cut corners or commissions." The fifth one, "Turning your cents into our dollars."
Okay, so what's the goal of this slogan?
It's gonna be a slogan of the company. It's just, you know.
Is it for internal use or for external use?
I think Scrooge McDuck Financials is a very transparent company. They do not, try
Okay,
to
they
hide
don't
anything.
separate those two things. We expect
Yeah.
things to leak
Hmm.
either way. Okay. Do I have to choose a slogan?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, cool.
It just creates an atmosphere.
Sounds good. So, okay, actually, this is an interesting problem because I think a lot of work here will be not on the side of technical things. A lot of work here will be on the side of like managing stakeholders and expectations and everything. So, let me ask you an obvious question here. So, who do I report to, and what kind of like a structure hierarchy we have? Because let me tell you what I'm thinking about. Right, I will probably need to find some people. I hope that some people in the management are adequate and like in the sense that they understand a little bit better of what's happening. Like some of them will be just like, why aren't you doing AI? It should help. So I basically need to find allies because obviously this is kind of bullshit requirement. But there are many different ways to actually make money for the company, trying to do something that aligns with that. And the question is only like, how exactly should we do that? For that, I will need to sell my ideas. For that, I will need to have allies. For that, I will need to understand the structure of the company. So, should I go in the direction, or should I just like assume that I will have some allies? I just need to figure out now how exactly to approach this, and I can ask you questions. Like you can play a part of some general manager.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I understand. So you're looking for a sponsor, right? Let's say that CEO is your sponsor.
CEO.
Yes,
Okay.
he is. This is the guy with leadership,
Mm-hmm.
right? He
Yep. Yep.
knows the business. He knows his things. Yeah, and you report, yeah, let's say to the board, but he is your sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Or she. Why not? Hmm?
Yep. Okay. So, um, what kind of a team do we have? Like, what kind of the data products do we have? What is the history of those things? Like, is it? Let me just try to make some assumptions, right? I will first figure out. Okay, so it's like 0.5 transactions on average for 9 million clients per month. So it's like 4.5 million bucks of revenue. No. it's 4.5 million transactions, and then I have to divide it again, so it will be like 22.5 million bucks per month. Um, so that's revenue, right? And out of this, we have to pay for everyone and like offices and everything. So I wouldn't expect our company to be too big, and I don't expect us to have like hundreds of people. Like um, at the current rates, I should assume it's like a European company, right? So it will be like basically around 100,000 bucks per year for like one person, like plus or minus. Obviously, there are also taxes, everything. So I can expect that it's like not more than 225 people, if that's the only cost, and it's not the only
It's
cost.
much smaller.
Yeah.
It's much smaller.
So like, how many people do we have? It's 100.
It's a Scrooge McDuck kind of company, man. It's much smaller. Yeah, we would say yeah, there are 50.
And how many of those are in the data team?
Yeah, let's say 5.
Okay. So I basically, since I'm a data lead, I guess I can only be data lead if I lead all of those five. So five data people. What are the kinds of things that we were doing? Is it like just the normal financial data stuff, like fraudulent transactions, those kind of things, and
Oh, well, it's a little like fraudulent transactions, maybe a little bit less important because it's NFTs and
oh
crypto.
yeah,
It's more
no one
like
ever lied in crypto, right?
no, no, not that anyone lied. It's more like nobody really cares.
Okay.
But yeah, in crypto, I would maybe assume that it's smart contracts, so it's super hard
Mm-hmm.
to do fraudulent stuff. But yeah, there is yeah, a couple of people who are in governance and controlling security, and then let's say also there are 10 developers, and the rest are like marketing and finance people.
Okay. So five data people, 10 developers. Data people are working mostly in data foundations, like maybe some analytics, stuff like that. So it's not like we are very high tech company at the forefront of like creating new Web3 contracts or whatever. Sounds good.
No, you guys says I'm much closer to the real people, so it's not like you're creating a tech yourself, like a platform. It's more like you're close to the consumers, to the
Okay.
users.
Well, now let me just mention a thing that I think should be pretty true. So I would guess that our distribution of number of transactions per clients are power distributions. So it's essentially like every next one is X times bigger as the previous one. Like when you get to the top transaction. So I would expect that maybe like 20% of our transactions are done by like less than 1%, like much, maybe 0.1% of our clients. So basically, there are like huge traders who are for some reason using our platform a lot, right?
Yeah,
Um,
so you have a high, like a few percentage of people who do high frequency, and then the long tail.
mhm, okay, like few percent
By
HFT.
the way, I think you're typing somewhere below
Oh yeah,
on
yeah,
this board, so
you're
you
right.
can
Let
see
me
it in your.
actually make it a little smaller so that
Mhm.
it's obvious what's on the screen. And those are responsible for most transactions. For not for most, like what should be like high a few percent HFT, responsible for 50% transactions or something.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, let's say
Yeah.
50. That's all right.
Okay. So then my question is like, yeah, there are people who are trading, like if we have people who are high frequency traders, then we have like those whatever million clients who never do transactions, and like on average it's still 0.5, right? So maybe there is a lot of things about like churning and activation for them, right? I will still think that if we get from 0 to 1 transaction or something for those people, then it's already good. Like, and churning is AI, so this is sellable as like, let's find people who are about to churn or people who already churned, and then let's build AI based emails so that we can like get them back to our platform, something like that. It can be one campaign that we can do together with our marketing people that we have. So uh, churning or churned can be one of the target audiences, right? And this is one of the projects that I can think of. Another project is on the high frequency side. And then my question is like, why do those people, high frequency traders, choose our platform instead of any other platform?
Very good personal connections. We have
Mm-hmm.
managers who can facilitate transactions, sit with the client. You can also say that most of the things that happen on this platform, they're from one side or another, are emotional, right? So, for example, you see like a new cryptocurrency, and somebody is like, "Yeah, let's just try it. Let's put a couple of meals there." Or a new beautiful NFT comes up, and you think, "Yeah, that's definitely going to cost millions at certain point, so I'm going to spend $5 on it." Uh, and then with our biggest clients, right, with people who make the most of transactions, we have like very personalized approach. But of course, yeah, we cannot give this to everyone, right? So there is a certain threshold after which yeah, people pretty much are on their own.
Okay. Um, so then another question is, based on our analytics, historical data, is it that case that um, those high frequency traders were already high frequency traders in other disciplines, like trading related disciplines, before they joined our platform and started trading like with crypto NFTs, or did they grow from our like lower level customer base? So you see, right, my point here, because maybe we have found them on the market, and then they joined our platform for whatever reason, or they started as those like low level traders but were successful and grew.
Hmm. Okay, I will try to reply in two parts. So we don't know what did they do before our platform,
Mm-hmm.
because that's yeah,
Up
that's
to them. But I'm just thinking
personal
about like
information.
institutionalized trading firms, right? That decided to trade through our platforms because we
You
gave
know,
them
most of
access
them
to
are
ideas.
individuals. They
Okay.
just yeah, people. Um, and the second part of it is that it's nearly impossible now to find new clients or close to new clients. This is why CEO idea is actually, it does make sense. What he says, we need to milk existing clients as much as possible, and because there are not that many, it's like the wave of uh, hype, let's say, it passed,
Mm-hmm.
and now people learn how to work with it, and they're much more conscious about these things. So there's not that many people who come in the industry, let's say. So you need to learn how to work with these people who are already there.
Mm-hmm. Um. Okay. So basically, hard to find new clients on the market. And I'm getting back to the idea of like churning and trying to reactivate the clients
Yeah,
as a better approach. Then even like you mentioned that new clients are existing big clients can be triggered for buying or selling, like if there is some new crypto, new HFT, new
absolutely.
carbon credit, right? So basically here we can figure out a way to we should first of all analyze, do we have all the possibilities, like all the new things that are appearing on our platform, since those are common triggers for our clients. So is this the case or not?
Yeah, let's say that we are connected to other peers, and whenever new NFTs come up or new cryptos are coming up, then they appear also on our platform. We also have a kind of a notification like a spam mail that we send all the time whenever something new is coming up.
Okay. And spam mail, is it effective?
No,
Okay, it's not effective. So um, improving triggers for big clients. So essentially, you said that then how do they make this decision? That's interesting. So they're hearing about this new stuff somewhere else instead of our platform, and then come to our platform and buy those new things because they are already there. Is it the normal flow for them?
high frequency guys, they have a personal manager.
Personal manager who comes to them tells them, okay, so
Yes, it says like, hey, look, this is I don't know, a monkey NFT. You should definitely have it for your collection.
mhm. Okay, so it's an individual who does a lot of trades, and but when we say high frequency, right, let me be very explicit here, because what you're saying right now doesn't sound like high frequency in the normal sense, where like it's everything about algorithms. It's still
And that,
mostly just like people who are buying like things every day, let's say, and then it comes out to 300 transactions per year, which is much more than an average customer.
yeah, that is, they also buy in bulk, right?
Yeah,
So
they buy in
that's
bulk.
the thing.
Okay, but mm,
Because it's cheap, right? So
let me actually
the
also be explicit about one thing that I was not mentioning, because um, should I do I want to, do I have a good relationship to push back on the exact definition of the task that was given to me? Because
you
uh,
can try.
I can try, because maybe if we take it at face value, right? Let's increase the number of transactions by 300%. That's what I'm trying to do right now, because I'm assuming that I should first g- be successful in like improving the number of transactions, and then I will have more say in communicating with upper management to say that actually let's try to do this other thing. But just to mention, let's also assume like what else can we do, right? Every transaction is 50 cents. So if some people are buying in bulk and we have like personalized services and they're using those personalized services, maybe we can offer new products like for those big customers. These products can also be AI based, whatever. Like we can, everything can be called AI right now, so it's fine. We can use ChatGPT to like do something for us, and then it's AI. And another thing that I also haven't questioned is like when we say it should be based on AI, is it just for selling to our executives, or is it also to sell it, for selling to the like outside markets, like saying that we are using AI for whatever? Do we expect that it can help our advertise ads or something like to get new clients? Okay, so that's just as long as we are using AI and our executives agree that we are using AI, we are fine here. Cool.
Yeah, it was an honest attempt to help you. They were just like, hey, yeah, how can we achieve 300% growth? AI, definitely.
Okay, that's nice. So I will get back now to trying to take this at face value. Is that fine, or is your expectation that I should dig a little more on the side of like what else can we do instead of this?
No, that feels like yeah, that's what your CEO wants from you.
Okay, cool. So fine. Do we think that there is a possibility that like we have those very personal managers, right, like personal connections, and from what you tell me, mostly it's just like remembering what people like, some preferences, remembering what they want to buy and sell when they did that, and like when something new that might interest them comes up. And I'm assuming that those things don't are not that frequent. Maybe there are like 5 new releases every day of cryptocurrencies or anything, maybe 10, 50. It's still like reasonably low numbers. So it's not like that we need to do some uh, big scale recommendation system. Actually, we can. I think it would be even simpler to just try to use something like ChatGPT here to remember those things and try to like match. I'm getting too much into the details. Some just an idea that came to mind, right? Like remember preferences, match some new things that came up with those preferences and seeing if some client can will be interested or not interested. Obviously, we can do standard machine learning, but I think at the current state of things, ChatGPT based solution will be easier as an initial implementation. But
Yeah, I can even tell you that one of the main benefits that our personalized service provides is that sometimes, well, usually our managers they go a little bit back and forward with the client, so they kind of like, look, this is what you should buy, right?
mhm.
Or this is something that you now should sell. But they also like the client says, hey, yeah, I don't really like this one, or this one also doesn't look pretty. So and then they exclude it, and they just shuffle it a little bit.
Okay, so essentially, what you told me is that this is what helps us to make more transactions. And the whole flow becomes pretty obvious, right? Like, first, we activate people who are not on the platform to come back to other platform. Then, those people who started making transactions, we find ways to involve them to start making more transactions. And then, for those big clients who are already making a lot of transactions, we find ways to improve it even further, right? And then, how to scale this solution, we need to the most important thing sounds like we have very limited amount of like human labor that can cover
Mhm.
those top
And we're
clients,
not going to hire more.
and we are not going to hire more, right? But
No,
if we
Scrooge
scale
McDuck
this
doesn't
approach,
hire.
we know that this approach works. So if we scale this approach to other our clients, it should work pretty well. And from what you told me, like you just mentioned dialogues, right? I'm assuming those dialogues are happening in text. It's not like they're calling clients, right? Um,
So some of them do, but a lot in emails. Yes,
a lot happens in
that's
emails.
emails. Hmm.
Um, so this can be obviously an AI-based solution. That is it always like the same the same client talks to the same sales agent, let's call them sales agents, or like personal managers, it's better.
Yes,
It's
one
always the same.
manager has many clients,
Mhm.
but clients are locked to a manager.
So what I'm thinking, what I'm worried about, right? It's a delicate thing to just substitute a human with AI. And even if AI can copy the style and everything, I think it's still might not be like good enough. So I think a better flow than just like let's substitute with this with AI would be let's ask AI to copy the style of this manager, personal manager, and write a message for this personal manager. Then personal manager just goes and checks the messages, like which one is fine. It can tweak it, like change it a little bit, and then send it. And this way, like right now I'm assuming they're writing the messages by themselves. They are also trying to figure what which client would like and like analyze first what comes up, then which of their clients would like something like this. They do all of this manually. I think if we do both of those steps with AI, with LLMs, essentially, with just APIs of LLMs. Just to be clear, that I'm not saying that we should fine tune or deploy our own LLM. APIs will do just fine for now. So those two things should, I think, at least 10x the amount of throughput that one manager has.
You might want to start putting it on some picture or something like this, because you identified three cohorts, right,
Mm-hmm.
of people out of these 9 meals, and it looks like for every cohort you need either a different product
Hmm.
or different approach, right? So it looks like it makes sense to see also which cohort you want to focus on and kind of play from the business needs there.
Sure. Okay, let me just put it here, put it there. I will try to rearrange screens a little bit. Um, okay, so let's talk about prioritization. It sounds like the first and foremost is this thing where I'm thinking about whether we should try to get smaller clients bigger or bigger clients even more big. But I don't think actually this is a different thing. It's just different places where we started. They start from. So one, uh, big clients already have personal managers. A little bit
Hmm.
smaller ones don't have personal managers, right? So
Yeah,
we
they have
start
only this.
scaling. It's the same product. We start scaling personal managers as this product scales, we get more and more people to get personal managers to start getting those personalized recommendations, human-based recommendations, and those are actually human-based because personal managers are still like checking all the messages. There are risks there. They can just like if they see that it works well, they will just ignore it and like click like everything is fine all the time, and it can create issues for us down the line. But I think as the first approach, this is fine. We first need to see how it works, and then we'll see like how, if and when we need to change something. So basically one product, I don't know why I'm creating a box here just because it's nice to have boxes, I guess. But one product is like scaling personal managers with AI. This is the first thing that I would be going and selling to our management, and I would basically say that like I expect I would calculate this. You have some.
Why do you say that is the first one? So what would be the second one? And how did you define that this one is going to be the
Yeah, yeah.
first one?
Actually, this is a good point. Um, I didn't calculate it yet. Uh, so let's say um, one of the assumptions that I had in mind, right? Why am I focusing on this more? Because in my experience, churned people are very reluctant to go back to the platform in general. So I'm not betting too much on this thing, but scaling personal manager with this approach that I'm saying sounds like a no-brainer in a way that it should work. The details are still up for discussions, like how exactly this would work, but this still sounds like something that could work. The thing is, like, I would still say that there are two categories of the clients, right? Some who are like amateurish traders who just try to buy NFT, and we were the most convenient platform to do that. And they never got the kick out of it, right? In a sense. So basically, they joined our platform, tried to do that, never came back, right? And
Well, they do come back from time to time because otherwise, if it's only one trade, then this 9 million people, who make some transactions, they would die out very quickly. So they, from time to time, they still kind of come back. They see a nice thing and they're like, okay, it's shiny, it's nice, let's take it.
okay, there is also like third thing that I just thought about, like market making. But I'm not sure if this is something that I want to go for. Just I will mention it here, right? And like here we will do reactivation. Um, so you're asking me why I'm prioritizing it this way. You mentioned that, uh, yeah, those 9 million clients are still somewhat active. They still, let's say, came to our platform in the last year. So their amount of transactions becomes lower because the hype train is past us, but they still can do transactions from time to time. And if we activate those, uh, should we expect more total transactions to come from this product or from like from this first product, right? So We discussed that it's like 50% of transactions that come from top people, from top
What
2%.
is market making?
Market making is just the third thing that I thought about. It's kind of like this virality and hype that helps us in general. Like the more hype there is around some HFTs, carbon credits, whatever,
Mhm.
the more people are buying those, and it becomes basically like the more trading there is, the more trading there is, until we
Mhm.
grow like to some like you can call it a bubble or whatever, and then it bursts, right? But
Mhm.
essentially, creating markets, like if no one ever learns about some HFT, new HFT, they will never start buying this, like, and it will never go anywhere, right? And we are
Mhm.
already kind of doing that. We are already selling things to people, and we are telling people about new things that come up. So we can go in step further, right? And also, this is not directly related to increase the number of transactions, but we can sell market making services to other
Mhm.
companies. But if we are good at creating like markets and for selling, if we have reliable customer base who are ready to try new HFTs, and it looks like we already do have it, and we can maybe have even more people, then it's another stream of revenue. First thing. Second, it's more activity in buying, and then this increases the number of transactions. So like indirectly, this still helps us. But uh, let's first discuss this other thing, right? A few percent of people get us 50% of transactions, right? So uh, I think it should be easy to increase the number of percent of people who are doing that many transactions of average by a few percent more, like of our customer base, because obviously there is a long tail, but there are a lot of people in the middle who are not getting personal management help right now, but they might be start doing this. And I expect that since this like it's just 2% that give us 50% of transactions, that adding a few people more there should be more beneficial than just reactivating this long tail who are doing like one transaction a year. So that's why I want to scale personal managers with AI first.
Mhm.
But I don't think that it will be like a very, very long term project, because it's just writing a few prompts, trying things out. Yeah, writing UI, writing a database. Like maybe we will need to do some even RAG system, not start with it, to be clear, right? Maybe that stores the memories about like who bought what and like connected to our databases so that it gives some context to LLM. But this can all wait, like some simple prompting and getting the kind of style from the existing messages and stuff like this should be pretty easy, like 1 month project, until we actually try to scale and see how it works, right? So basically for the first month I would focus on this. I would first come to management selling this and mentioning those other two things, just to see if it um, surprises them in any way, and they decide, oh wow, this is a great idea, let's do that, just to give them an idea and gather their feedback. But for the first month I would focus on this one. Then I would probably work in parallel on other things. um, Maybe reactivation, like we haven't discussed what exactly is reactivation, right, and how to approach this. I had in mind some kind of email solution that like sends notifications to people. This spam email that currently doesn't work, like what can make it work? um, but there we will probably have to like just changing email. I wouldn't expect this to be very effective. What I would expect to be more effective is let's arrange some kind of like I would say lottery, but I don't really mean lottery because lotteries have all these legal issues with them. Just basically, let's give everyone like a free NFT that can be very, very cheap when they have just appeared, right? And they basically will cost us not much. But if you go back to our like to the platform right now, you can get this free NFT that is currently growing, whatever. So this is kind of a better sales approach to them to reactivate them. But why am I telling you all this? If we try to go in this direction, like inefficient emails are quick, but figuring out a good marketing campaign that can reactivate people is harder, because if it was easy, we would have just done that already, I assume, because we have marketing people and all this, right? So that's why I still think that it's not just like here we can get some benefit with a few prompts and some system build, but this can be done in 1 month. Here we will probably need to be a little like do some market analysis, maybe get help from cross-functional teams from marketing, whatever what they tried, and essentially core functionality here would not be like AI based, but most like more like marketing based, and using AI to do marketing in a kind of thing. So yeah, that would be my second priority because of that. And market making is just a different product in a way. So it's promising like high risk, high reward kind of situation that I want to go for only after the first two already are in a good place. Okay, so let me pause here. Um, are there more things that you're expecting? Should I cover something that I haven't mentioned at all until now?
Well, let's put it this way, right? So this was the part about the product work. So I would like to after that to go to the more technical stuff,
Mhm.
right? From here, but I can already give feedback on this part if you like.
No, let's discuss technical part because we can go very deeply there, right? But on the higher level, I will first focus on this thing. As I mentioned, this is the mostly technical thing. So what do we need here, right? We need some UI for people where they will have like and UI uh, front end where they will have. I'm already starting to think about UX and everything, but essentially it's just like you have personal manager. You have suggested emails for this personal manager, and then he has to go through and click yes, and then uh, let's say manager gets response, then we basically send this to response from the client to ChatGPT to continue dialogue as if it was a manager, but manager still has to approve all the messages, right? So it's kind of an email UI, but with some tweaks. On the back end, it's pretty simple. And we integrate with like two things, which is like first we integrate with two things like email server, whatever we use there, and then we also integrate with ChatGPT to ChatGPT. So that doesn't tell us everything. We also need to integrate with some like kind of a database, and this is an interesting part that we haven't discussed. So this thing is pretty clear. Let me just draw some lines. So UI talks to backend, backend talks to email and ChatGPT. But this is assuming that we know what to write about, right? Uh, then, it, yeah, I think the first solution can be just proposing the next message based on the current thread that personal managers have with clients. So it's just like uh, it doesn't recommend things. Manager still has to choose and recommend things, but this is the first integration that we do. ChatGPT proposing the next message because we don't have to integrate it with anything yet. But then there is also database, and this database I'm just using very abstract database thingy here that stores information about what are the new things that appear, right? So, um, how do we even add new HFTs, like whatever, to our platform? Like, how does this work? Can I just assume that I will have like new some table where we have like entity type, like, and then create a date, and I can just choose whatever appeared recently.
Yeah, because it's appears on the platform, so people can choose it and buy it, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a
So
database with all of them.
yeah, basically what I'm trying to figure out is how do I recommend new things to people, right? And
Hmm. Yeah, you can sort. You can get top 10
yeah,
newest things if you need.
yeah. So one important thing here would be to figure out the history of purchases. So essentially, like which things the person held historically and for how long, maybe. This is the simple SQL script, probably from our analytics database that we can get this. Some data pipelines that stores this, and then we can ingest. We can do it daily because I don't think that we need to do it more often. And then we ingest it, and then we match those new things that came up, right, and like some descriptions about those. We pass it to um, ChatGPT. I'm assuming it's actually an interesting question. We need to test things up. Like, does ChatGPT know really well what all those cryptocurrencies are about? Like, if we just pass it a list of things that the person has held historically and for how long they held it, does it understand the context well, or do we need to provide it with more context? That's the question. I just don't know, but either way we can solve this problem. Let's assume that this problem has solved. So given this historical context, given these new things that came up on the market, and given these things that are especially popular in history, like what should we like propose to the client? And then maybe there should be some business rules regarding how often should we write to the client. Obviously we have a personal manager that should be mindful about, like they probably already know how much are they writing to the clients and when should they reach out to them, all this kind of stuff. Basically we need to discuss it with them here, I think, like what is the best approach, how should we um, what should be the business rules for us to choosing to recommend something to the clients. And in real life I would probably just go to them and have some interviews with different personal managers trying to figure out their process. So I'm just guessing how this can work from the ChatGPT perspective. But yeah, once we do that we can generate messages. Those messages, like they got back to the same backend database. This is not really important, like how exactly do we structure this. If you want to go in this direction we can discuss that. But yeah, and I think now this would be a fully working system because we will have some messages that we can send um, to our clients with personal managers. One of the things is like how to introduce new people for the same personal manager. This will be just some like project management, figuring out how much time do they now have, and like basically it's pretty easy to choose the people by top transactions recently, like say over the last month, and then we can reach out to them and say like, okay, hey, I'm your personal manager. All of this. This flow is also um, not too sophisticated. So then the next directions, right, like improving the flows. This already becomes kind of sort of CRM, like where each customer is. I don't think that we should add CRM functionality. Maybe we should integrate with existing CRMs.
Assume that we have CRM.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's 9 million customers.
yeah,
Somehow
yeah.
we keep
I
track of
mean,
them.
like, uh, there is a possibility to like to all of this should be a plugin to the CRM. That's what I'm trying to say. So we will try to not duplicate functionality that exists there.
Okay.
And then one of the directions is how to improve those flows, right? All of those. How to improve the flow of getting someone who hasn't had personal manager to having personal manager, how to optimize the real like frequency of emails and everything, like, and the approaches there, because this is maybe our personal managers are also incorrect in some ways. But it's probably, I can say let's use reinforcement learning. It's probably too much, obviously too much here, but theoretically in the future, if we have good enough pool of people, we can also try to do some uh, decisions that further decisions that are not just business rules, but some suggestions about how to how and when to send those emails. Then the third direction is to improve our recommendation system, right? Like how to match what the particular person is interested in. We can, at this point, I probably think that we can try to see what ChatGPT recommends and also try to build basic machine learning model, the recommendation model that does the same thing and see based on historical data like what kind of things were successful, weren't successful, and try to optimize the model. Maybe at this point, ChatGPT can become just like one of the features that come into the machine learning model, or maybe machine learning will work by itself. But maybe there are better ways to approach this recommendation system with basic machine learning or combined. And then, yeah, another thing here that we can add in the future is RAG. Like, let's say we now want to also get context in a different way. Maybe there were too many transactions. So previously we didn't discuss what happens in this scenario, right? Like what if the person had like 300 transactions every month over the last 3 years? Do we pass all of this context to ChatGPT? Probably not. Probably that will be too much. So then um, one of the obvious solutions is like we have 5 new things that were added to day 10 as we discussed. We can, for all of those, we can get necessary context using RAG from the previous transactions of this person or whatever. And then we can, okay, so retrieval augmented generation is, I'm saying using RAG. To be explicit, we will use some like embedding solutions to embed the new things, to embed the old things, to get things that are closest to the like what we are trying to sell today, so that we pass to the context of the model only relevant things. But in the beginning, we can just pass the recent things or something like that. And yeah, those are some of the dimensions for future development of the system. Um, so that's at this level of detail. Do you want to go for some of those subsystems to the deeper level of detail?
Mm, let's say that what we have now on the screen it's our MVP. Um, can we list a list of challenges that yeah, let's say we expect to have with it?
Okay, so I would understand challenges in a very general way, like what are the kinds of things that I'm worried. First thing that comes to mind, like, do we have people? Um, I'm trying to think if there is anything challenging technically here, right? Um, I don't think so. So far, like if we talk only about this MVP, um, I'm actually I don't know what you might be referring to. I feel like there should be some particular thing that you're thinking about, but I don't know. Um, integrating
Well,
like.
let's say we built it, right?
Mhm,
We started to use it. Now we have, I don't know, we took a certain percentage of people whom we want to elevate, to the level of having a personal manager,
mhm,
right? Um, so that there will be certain amount of requests from personal managers to this UI system, for the existing customers plus new customers, right? Will it fit? I don't know, for example, in the budget of number of requests that we're going to make to ChatGPT.
I
They're
see what you're
not
saying.
right
Yeah.
kind of
Um,
things. Like how do you see the system in operation? What challenges might pop up from there?
um, One of the things that we didn't discuss and didn't calculate is like what would be the amount of requests that we are sending. What would be the size of those requests? Because I just assume that like it's not too much. But let's see, because we are doing it for every client that we want to get in this category. So let's say 10% of our people. Yeah, it can get to pretty many. So in the, we have like few percent of people, like 1 to 2% we discussed, that are already there in this personal manager category. So if we do increase it by 10, as I promised, it will be like 10%, and 10% of 9 million is 900,000. So for those 900,000, if we daily look for like how many, which of the particular products should we recommend them? Okay, maybe we'll have some business rules that it should be just once a week or something. But right now they're buying and selling once a day, right? So maybe we should every day try to find out something for them, or maybe it would be a good thing to say that explicitly that okay, today nothing for you, like, but tomorrow there are two things that you should consider. Still, it's like daily, uh, like 900,000 requests to ChatGPT with a lot of context. Um, and let's just calculate things, right? I don't remember what is it right now. I think it's like $15 per million token, or no, probably less. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to,
Yeah,
have it in mind.
I don't have intuition about the number yet, right? So
I,
I
I,
just need to shut up and
I don't know about the specific number. I can tell that brute forcing ChatGPT with 900,000 queries a day, this is going to be expensive.
yep. Uh,
It's for Scrooge McDuck for sure. Like it's not like maybe another company will be fine.
given
Scrooge McDuck will take you by the all parts of the body.
Yeah, yeah, you are right here. So the problem is that um, given that we are also only earning like 0.5 cents, 5 cents, so what is it?
Hmm.
50 cents every transaction, right? We definitely cannot, and not all of our emails will obviously bring us more, and it doesn't cost 50 cents. Like one such request to ChatGPT, it probably costs like less than 0.01 or something, but still, yeah, actually, let me just calculate. Shut up and calculate, like, right for a second. I just want to understand like the magnitude of the number. So it's like 9 times 10 to the 6, right? 10 to the 6, no, 10 to the 5. So this is the number of, okay, chat GPT 4.1 cost. Pricing. Okay, not this one. I want cost API. API pricing. 03, no, I want this one. So this for 2 million tokens. Input and output. So it's like $8 per million, right? So this is the amount of users. Now, how many tokens do we expect? Like, I guess in the context, let's say 1,000 tokens, we can tweak our context to pass it. Like, so it's 10 to the third power tokens. And let's say also like 10 to the fourth, just to cover also response, like back and forth, stuff like that. It will probably be around this. So it will be like 10 to the third power times million tokens, right? So it's 9 times 10 to the third power times 1 million for tokens. And we know that cost per million tokens, like let's just have a bigger number, which is $8. So 8 times 9 times 10 to the 3, which is 50. Okay, yeah, it's a lot. It obviously too much. It's $2,000 per day. Yeah, so now we have at least the magnitude of the number. So I need to think about like where to, how to cut it, because I think let's say that each of those, let's say 10% of those 900 million actually do a transaction, right? Just to get,
You have to scroll down.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's say that 9,000 people do a transaction. So it will be for, so 10% of the people who we send email to, which would be a very good conversion, but we are expecting good conversion for this category of people. So so for this to be worth it, we need to spend too much money. So definitely we need to decrease the amount of things that we are creating this way, just like at
Yeah,
least.
you can expect that the rate will be a little bit better because again we are selling a package, right? So it's not going to be one transaction. They will make a purchase of a package, but also again there will be back and forward
Yeah, yeah,
between
yeah.
them. They will say,
Conversations,
"Hey,
everything.
of this
Yeah.
100 things that you suggest, I want this two out, and suggest me something else."
Yeah, I try to do to account for this by multiplying by 10 more here, but
Mhm.
still, definitely, like, we need to decrease the amount of money we spend here by at least 10 and 10 times, and it better like 100 times. Like if we decrease by 100 times, I guess it's like a success. For 10 times for MVP, it's reasonable to start. So how
Yeah.
can we do that? Um, yeah, I think then maybe we should delay our initial project by a little bit. And instead of just using ChatGPT for
Save
everything.
money, right? And save money.
Yes.
And once we have enough on our bank account, then we can start with the
Uh,
project.
I mean, what I'm saying is ChatGPT is the fastest solution, right? So one of the options, if we want to just decrease by 10x, maybe we can just have some templated emails and maybe try to run script once for the clients for the kinds of things that they're interested in. So if we like, we need to analyze what is the kind of things that exist, if we can even extract information like this that people are interested in, um, and if that will be useful. Like, basically we need to go back to personal managers and try to understand how they are approaching the system. It should give us good insights here. So maybe we can do one script plus templated emails, and maybe many different templates that we can also generate with ChatGPT, and maybe we can like tweak things instead of creating templated emails per client as we are doing right now. We can create per personal manager so that those emails still have the same style, but it's a template. So basically, instead of running things every time, we just run things once on both sides and then try to use some rule-based logic to map those things one to another. And another option would be to just go for a machine learning model right away, because in this scenario, it will not cost much. We can combine both things, right? Like templated idea and like running things once idea should be fine either way. But it will take a little bit longer to create machine learning model, than like just create some prompts. So I would say like 3 months, given based on what is the current state of things, current state of data infrastructure. If we have good software engineers, if we already have data stored in a good way, um, everything depends on a lot of things here. So it's like 3 months, but it can be 2 or 7 in different scenarios. And 7 is not fine, obviously, but 2, 3 I think can be doable. And then for this thing, like for the machine learning model, we can just do recommendations. Yeah, and it should solve the problem of matching person to an asset that we are trying to sell them, and then like those templates and everything. And the only way we are actually using ChatGPT is to create a new email based on the previous emails, and it will still be a lot, but given that we are passing much less context, mm, I would assume that I can also calculate that, but I think we will get to like 100 decrease in the total amount of tokens that we spend. So yeah, this would be my analysis of this particular side of things.
Okay. Do you see any other challenges in using this MVP?
um, I want to mention again, not really again, but like the quality of things. So we just assume that everything would work. I have high expectations for this thing, but there are definitely risks there. Like uh, maybe people will start seeing that we are using AI for that. This is one of the risks that I mentioned. Another risk is that for whatever reason, personal manager won't be able to scale that well. So yes, it takes longer to write and like to choose assets, but the kind of the work they're doing will change a lot if they just start clicking through the suggestions made by AI. So it's another thing that we should consider. Maybe this will not work in some way. Um, what else? What are the other risks? Let's say we are introducing this project. It still needs to be sold to the team, to the executive team. So maybe some of them will be unsupportive. Obviously, we will need resources for this project. So currently, it's only data team, but we are mentioning we are saying data team, but obviously there is some software engineering involved there. I don't know how the teams are structured, if we will need cross-functional collaboration, put things on the other teams' roadmaps. Also talking to these personal managers, they might even say that they are too busy. All those like uh, getting the project from the ground kind of things that we need to do. But yeah, do you have other things in mind?
Yeah, let's say ChatGPT goes rogue and it gives your backend an answer saying delete the database.
It answers what?
So your backend communicates with
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, right? Your backend says, "Give me recommendation," right? And instead of recommendation, ChatGPT sends back, "Yeah, delete your database or your file system or."
I
Uh,
see. Basically, is that it responds in a way that is not useful for us. I um, I hope that this will be a thing that we will test like before we started even an MVP. And
no, it won't help because ChatGPT has probabilistic nature. It can respond with
yeah, well,
whatever,
I would
right?
just say that it's infinitesimally small probability based on the current use
It
case.
can break the contract, right? So your backend expects from it a certain thing, right?
Um,
And it
so
forget with comma and
yeah,
this kind of things. So it's a free agent in a way, system that you do not control. Even if it would be not just ChatGPT, but API of another company, you would need to place an anti-corruption layer between these two.
yes, and I I wasn't worried about this, and I don't think this is a huge concern because we have structured outputs, which is like a contract of the API on the side of ChatGPT. It can always ensure that it outputs things in the correct way, in the correct format. We still have a problem of it can output like read your freaking database, right? And this will be a message that we will create. There, I think it will be up to personal manager to see that. Maybe this is a bad decision. Maybe they will just like be used to clicking all the time and just ignore this, and this creates more risks for us, right? Um, So what are the ways uh, to analyze the data there? So we basically need to ensure we can ensure that the output will always be correct. ChatGPT can also be down, those kind of things. So basically, when do we fall back on something else? I hope that the fallback mechanism here is just to fall back on the person. We will need to see how it works. I understand that there are other risks here that the person will just not pay attention, but um, this is in general a good fallback mechanism that I can think of, because other mechanisms, like for example, let's say uh, ChatGPT breaks and responds with incorrect, like unuseful response. The
Or harmful.
hmm?
Or harmful.
Or harmful response. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, the only way that I can think of is to use more machine learning to check for that. But I would expect this is just my intuition, right? I would expect that this happens so rarely that investing in this machine learning model, additional machine learning, would not be worth it in this for this particular scenario. So I would expect current state of ChatGPT to be able to answer pretty much always in a good way. The only problem that we would might have is that ChatGPT is down. Then it will be like we will have to fall back to humans for a time, and we just stop sending emails. We can fall back to something simpler, just like for a few hours while it's not working, right? So it's rarely down for more than a few hours. So yeah, basically this sums it up. I'm not too worried about this. That's why I didn't mention it.
Okay. I think I've got the impression.
Okay.
I'm ready to make my conclusion.
Okay. By the way, I didn't mention it at the beginning, but also like for the parts where like I wasn't good enough, it would be great if you can give your own kind of an answer or like ideas or whatever. But yeah, I would be happy to hear, Andrei. What are you going to tell me?
All right, let's go over the things. Uh, so what I liked that you've noted the things down because in a lot of cases, people I interviewed, they I kind of say the words, I give facts, and then people just ignore it, right? And then they're just like, okay, fine, yeah, I have one phrase, I like this phrase, so I'm going to milk this phrase. You use the full. You use the full set of information, everything that I said, made some calculations based on that, kind of picked the clues, right, which I left. So I think that that's very good. It kind of shows that you can work with large amounts of informations in a timely manner, like in a stressful situation. Um, I like the idea of market making. It was out of the box, like not something that I thought that we were going to talk about, but it's a good idea. It's actually good work. I also understand that you prioritized it like as a low priority. It's also something that I would do because very risky, but it's good that it's on the list. It's super good. Um, Another one. I like that you have the overview of the business, right? So I like that you do not, and this works both for the business processes and for the product, right? So that when I say, hey, yeah, your cost of GPT probably will be too big, right? You're looking for product solutions for this. You're saying, okay, we maybe will not, we will reduce the prompt that we're giving, like the amount of tokens that we feed to ChatGPT, and then there are product solutions, because product solutions, it's usually the cheapest ones, because it's pretty much like you and me. We talked, we said, okay, we're going to do different business. It's solved. You could also solve it with technical solutions, right? You could say, hey, we're going to do a database embeddings. We're going to, match the embeddings and then use ChatGPT to only in certain cases, and then the infrastructure would grow and somebody would have to build it. And this is months and months of development. So solving problems with products is very good. And the second part of it is that you also think about the rest of the business. Like there should be a communication, there should be a process, some other departments should be involved. This is also super important because we do not live in vacuum. We do not lead that. What's next? I think could be improved. How will I put it? It's like I think you are a little bit getting lost in the solving of the problem, whereas solving of the problem is not the goal of the exercise. The problem on this paper, it doesn't exist, right? There is only one problem. I want to see your competences, and you probably want to show your competences, right? So what people are looking for is not how well you solve this problem, but how well you can show that you can solve problems. This is like a meta level, right? So instead of, for example, spending a lot of time on coming with 3 or 4 solutions, right? You can tell about how you generally approach this kind of things, right? So you can say, I take a client base, I split it in 3 parts by certain characteristics. I say I will estimate which is the most called lucrative part, right? I'm gonna go for this part. I'm gonna explore what kind of problems do they have. I'm gonna find these problems with user interviews. I will take product ideas. I will rank them by I don't know, like again, lucrativity and against the effort, and I will take the one which has the lowest effort and the highest probability of success and will bring the most value, right? And this is enough, right? So honestly, like whenever you traverse the tree of possibilities, what can potentially happen, and where do we go with it, and what kind of features we can apply to this idea or to this idea. Um, this might be interesting if the scenario is less hypothetical. So some companies, they actually give you katas or whatever use cases from their daily practice. And then, whenever you traverse this tree, it's kind of, for them, it's entertaining because they start to think, okay, I didn't think about it, and blah blah blah. For this hypothetical case, the opportunities are infinite. Going over all of them, it's a little bit where I'm kind of lost, and I'm like, okay, what you trying to communicate to me now? Like what competences, what specific competence you are trying to show now? And it's not always clear. So if you can just go over approaches, right, to certain things, I think it will be much more condensed and focused.
Can I ask a question before you go to the next
Yeah,
point?
go ahead.
So the problem for me was that I didn't know what should be the product that I will eventually be targeting and getting into the more details of, because I sincerely didn't know what is the more promising solution. So I just listed a few things and then I analyzed those. So what would be your expectation about the best thing here? Because without knowing what I want to target, I don't know like
It doesn't
which.
matter what you want to target. That's the whole point of my long monologue. It's really, really nobody cares, right? It's about okay. It's like what do you focus on, right? So how do you come up with 3 solutions? if you would say the first solution is I don't know, to buy drugs on the black market and sell them to the users, that's also okay. I don't care, right? I only care about how do you come up with three solutions? How are you going to choose between these three solutions? What will be, how do you structure MVP? How do you say, hey, this is the proof of value, this is the proof of another proof, anyway. So too many proofs. So that's what I want to hear, right? I want to see that if, for example, can I delegate you a problem, right? Can I delegate your solution, or can I delegate you a task? Which out of three? And then if I'm looking for a very efficient person, right? So for example, this is kind of my feeling, right? So I have a feeling that you applied a lot of product solutions, you avoided technical things, or at least you didn't bring them up, right? So you were not efficient enough for the product position, because for the product position I would expect, like, you know, product people, they say it's the same thing you do for every product every day of your life, you know. And then you have like, okay, I'm doing user interview, after that I'm doing this research, this is hypothesis testing, this is A/B testing, we're going to test this and this, right? So that and again, content doesn't matter, only the approach, because you're showing your skills. But you also didn't speak on the on technical sides a lot, so you kind of in between, right? And you're kind of not good enough for the product position, but you also didn't show any technical skills. And so I'm like, okay, fine. My next question to you would be probably like, Ivan, what's your what kind of skills are you proud about? So that's something probably I would ask in the interview. Yeah, and then the last point, if like whenever you are going for the traversing this tree of possibilities, I can see how your mind can keep all of them, you know, and kind of you do not lose the conversation chain, you can say, right? So you say, hey, I'm gonna go point one. Point one consists of 3 points. Each one of them consists of another 3 points. So whenever you moved from the first level to the second, you lost people, because I cannot follow in most of the cases, right? If you want to iterate over a couple of things, you have to place them somewhere on the visual thing. And what works well is when you say, I see this as a challenge, and I'm solving this specific challenge. Now I consider the challenge solved. This is it. And this is where, again, we're going into the approach. You, for example, you say, hey, I see the challenge of, I know ChatGPT can cost too much. There are 3 solutions. I'm going to test them this way. I will choose one solution. Let's say this solution is number 8 because nobody cares. Let's move on. So kind of the trio of possibilities should be smaller, otherwise people cannot follow. And then it should be one step from the challenge, which you clearly defined, to the solution. And then everybody sees how you can connect the dots. So that's, I think, 3 things that I have for you.
Thank you, Andrei. This is very valuable, as usual. Kind of the thing that I wanted to get from those interviews. Yep. So should I like basically, from what I heard, it would be a no hire decision from you, right? Because it wasn't clear like what I'm trying to show, and it was like not too deep into the technical things and not too deep into the product things, and a little bit too much in going in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see. Always sad to hear that, but thank you for giving me very candid feedback.
Yeah. But again, it depends on the role. It's just I know which role you are aiming for. So if it's staff engineering position at fun, then yeah, it's probably not higher. In many other different things, it can work, and also, well, in many different kind of things, it can work because I would give maybe a more focused challenge, right? So I could give, hey, this is the I don't know, very like specific uh, problem that you need to
Mm-hmm.
solve, right? And then I think it would be much better. But here, where it is product, it is process, it is a team, because a team also has certain competences, right? So you have to weight this one as well. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, then I think I should just say that's it. Okay, you are disappearing from my screen. Give me a second. I will just finish this recording. And yeah, give me 1 second.